Hey friends, it is Kendra here with the Prosperous Projector, and I want to talk to my projector entrepreneurs today about how to find clarity in your life and your business as a projector. So if you are a human design frequency type of a projector, number one thing that you probably already know is you don't have that sustainable life force and workforce energy to just keep going and going and going like the majority of the world who are generators, right? So because of this, you have to be very clear and very intentional and very deliberate with how you use and manage your energy. One of the skills that you want to master as a projector is the mastery of your own energy, of how you manage your own energy. You're designed to guide others, right? You're designed to guide, consult, advise, and guide the energy of others. But before you can do that in the most efficient way possible, you've got to be able to do that for yourself first. So one of the ways I have found to really help me find clarity in my business and life is to simplify my life and my business. So what that means for me is every single thing in my life, every single thing in my business, I'm looking at how can I make this more simple. I'm going to use my business as an example. And I spoke about this yesterday in my stories for a little bit. And I talked about simplifying your business. And what I mean by that is like simplifying, decluttering, getting rid of the things that are sucking your energy that do not benefit your bottom line. And now I want to talk to you about what I mean bottom line. Typically when we hear that, we think of like bottom line as in like your money, right? No, I'm talking about your bottom line, your own personal bottom line. Sorry, I my eye. Of what is important to you. What's important to you? For me, for example, time freedom is very much important to me, right? Spending time with my family is very much important for me. Having space in my days and my weeks to be able to learn and study the things that really light me up. Having space to rest and truly relax. Like those are the things that are my bottom line, right? So if there's anything in my business that I am doing that I'm doing it because I feel like I should be doing it, or because the coaching industry says that this is the next greatest way to attract clients, if I'm doing anything that's not aligned with me and what my gifts are, then it gets to go. So I want to ask you to think about your own business, to think about your own life, and think about those things that you are doing right now in your business and life that are not adding to your bottom line, to the things that really matter to you, right? To the things that matter to, or to your bigger vision, I could say, right? To your bigger vision. So along this entrepreneurial journey that you've been on, you have picked up some ideas, you've picked up some strategies and ways of thinking that honestly don't support you. And so this is one of the reasons why a part of my framework that I support my clients with, the very first thing we look at is awareness. And it's about understanding your divine design. How is your energy designed to show up and interact with this world around you? What are your gifts, right? What are your strengths? What are your skills? What is the wisdom that you're holding? How are you meant to show up and lead in this world? When you have a really clear understanding, a deep understanding of yourself, you increase your level of awareness, which also means then that you can look at your life, you can look at your business and begin to declutter all the things that you're doing that do not support you, that are actually taking energy away from the things that are really important to you. So as an example of my business, last year I had this amazing epiphany where I realized, okay, wait a minute, I need to really simplify and streamline my business. And what that meant for me is I had to let go of this idea that I needed to be creating all these different courses and programs and launching something every other month or every month, right? That wasn't working for me. It felt draining to me. Thinking about launching every single month or launching a new offer or program every other month or even once a quarter felt quite exhausting to me. I did it, right? Like that I did do those things, but what I recognized is that that is not a sustainable practice if I'm looking ahead, if I am keeping my eyes on what the long-term vision is, right? So with that, hey Raina, so with that, you've got to be thinking about, okay, does this fit into the things that I value, and does this fit into my long-term vision? And I get that a lot of the times as entrepreneurs, we want to be so successful, right? We want to be able to create the impact and have the influence that we desire. And so we become really aggressive sometimes with finding the next, like, what do I need to do, how do I need to show up to get clients? What's the best way to market? What's the next, big trend in social media that I need to get a hold of? We kind of follow what is the next hottest thing, and we begin to accumulate these over time. And what happens is you come up after a year or two, you look up and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm doing things in my business and life that I really don't want to be doing. I'm doing them because I feel like I'm supposed to be doing them because other people are doing them and it's working. Or maybe you're doing things in your business that aren't working. You're doing things in your life that aren't working, but there's a part of you that's afraid to let it go because you think if you let it go, then what you desire is not going to come forth. But really, you're just continuing to dig a hole for yourself and using your energy in a way that is not the most efficient way. So my philosophy is to simplify. It is to simplify your business model. And so for me, what that looked like, instead of me, looking at, how many new programs can I create this year? What is the one program that I can create this year? What is the one experience, the one journey that I can create this year that I can put all of my focused energy and attention into to really help the people that I'm meant to help? What's the one thing? And when I started looking at that, and when I started looking at, how can I drive everything to this one thing, that freed up so much mental and emotional space for me, right? When I started thinking about my marketing, when I started thinking about how I wanted to show up in my community, everything got so clear because I was so clear on where I was directing people, right? My creative energy was able to go to this one area instead of my creative energy being dispersed among all these different projects, right? Rena says, oh my God, that's what I've been thinking, right in my mind. Yes, And so I think what we end up doing over time is that because we start picking up all these things around us and we're doing all the things that we think we need to do, we burn ourselves out, right? And what that means is we're burning ourselves out because what are we doing? We're operating from our conditioned mind. We're not operating from the most aligned version of who we are for whatever reason. Right? And typically there's a narrative, there's a story, there's a belief, there's something that's kind of buried in the subconscious that is working on your behalf that you're not aware of, right? And so that's why awareness and deep self-discovery are super important to focus on before getting into the piece of taking all this action. It's the reason why in my framework, I have action as the very last thing that we look at, because awareness and alignment have to come first before the action that you take can be as potent and as powerful as it can be. So simplify and declutter. When we add complexity breeds confusion. So if you're walking around and you're like, you're feeling confused, you feel like you have a ton of ideas and you don't know where to start, you feel overwhelmed, you feel like you're stuck in analysis paralysis, it's time to simplify. It's time to declutter. It's time to get really laser focused on what is important to you. And so one of the things that I say to myself is, I've said this before, right? Stay in your lane. Now my saying that I say to myself is, Kendra, live in your lane. I am all about living in my lane, right? Tracy and Stacy may be doing something completely different on the other side of me, right? I might see them online doing different things. And if I'm not secure and grounded in understanding of who I am, I can easily let my energy kind of get pulled in these directions thinking, oh, it's working for her, so I might need to try what she's doing. Oh, and she's doing this, and let me try this, right? This is where we get in trouble. And I've had many of you projectors, when you've taken the survey, you've said to me one of the things that holds you back is comparison, right? When we are comparing ourselves to other people, we're not living in our lane. We're trying to live in our lane while also simultaneously living in other people's lanes, okay? So I want to encourage you to get clear on what your lane looks like. What is it that's important to you? What is your long-term vision? And what are the actions, the mindset, the behavior that you need, that you get to adopt so that you can be laser focused on your lane and where you're going. Understanding yourself on a really deep level is so important. When you understand your patterns, when you understand what the limiting beliefs are that come up for you often when you're facing something new, when you're facing a challenge, when you understand them and you know how to dissect them and move through them and shift that energy, that is you being in your personal power, right? And that is what I want for all of us, is to be so super clear about who we are and how we're designed to show up in this world and how our Creator has designed us to show up as individuals. When you can get to that place and really lean into that, you are in your power. And so being in your power means that you can show up and do you and live in your lane and be successful doing life and business in a way that's right for you without being knocked over or pushed out of alignment by what's happening around you, by what other people are doing. Okay? And that is also how we are able to not allow comparison to get in our way. Because when we step into the comparison energy, we fall into despair, right? It's like the compare and despair loop. Oh my gosh, like look what she's doing. You know, her webinar was better than mine, and the way that she explains things seems so much clearer than me. That is not for you to judge. It's not for you to judge, right? You are here to clear the things out of your thinking and in your behaviors that are stopping you from bringing your greatest gifts to the world. We get burned out and overwhelmed and stressed and frustrated and bitter when we are operating from a system or a program within us that's not ours. Okay? So where can you simplify? Where can you declutter in your business and your life? One of the things I know for sure is that everything around us is energy, right? So us projectors we are what is called a non-energy type in human design, right? So if you are as a non-energy type, again, you have to be super clear about where you are putting your energy and where you're focusing it and what the energy is like around you. So literally decluttering your space, decluttering your inbox, decluttering your home, decluttering the practices and the habits that you have that aren't supporting you, right? In business, simplifying your systems, right? Simplifying your offers, simplifying your marketing, right? How can you simplify and streamline it so that you can operate at your highest potential? Okay? So I'd love to know your thoughts on that. How does this land with you? Do you have questions about this? Let me know in the comments. How do you plan to simplify and declutter your life and your business? And last but not least, the Prosperous Projector Paradigm is right now open for pre-sale, okay? This is a 12-month embodiment and personal power journey for projector entrepreneurs who are ready to do the work, the unsexy work, right, of shifting into alignment so that you can step in and own the prosperity and success that is yours. If this sounds like something that you may be interested in and you're ready to commit to yourself and do this work, I'll leave the link for the application below. It is application only. I'm only looking for, right now on this round, a few women to be in this space. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, I'll leave the link below. You can fill out the application. If you're a good fit, we'll connect and talk about it and go from there. All right? So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. If you're watching the replay, hit #replay and share this video if you feel called to on your page for those projectors out there who need to hear this message, for anybody who might need to hear this message. All right? Take care.